Hello, Mr. Booby. Sekunda. Wait a second. Alright. I've got hair. Got bustling hair. Tsuyi wubujaku. Tsuyi wubuje. Wubujilla. 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 Late night hormone. Excellent. Hold on. Hold on, Mr. Poopy Pants. Wait, is that a new Philippe Auguste or old Philippe Auguste? I cannot tell. Bougie, bougie, bougie. Might be a new one because I just hugged Fido. Mr. Twister. Alright. Welcome. Welcome everybody. Everybody. Hold on, I just copy. Wait, what the hell? Oh man. Oh right. Ooh. Hold on. Ah, yes. Okay, let me try this one more time. All right, let me see. I'm going to lure some President Sunday viewers in. Let me see if I can do anything. At everyone. Wow. Exciting. All right. I think I've done it. Oh yeah, let's check the chats if anybody's here. Free. What's the... That's Twitch. It's hard to say if anybody's here as nobody's talking. Nobody's speaking to me. I'm on no talky terms with the chat. Everyone's at in default right now? Really? Wow. Traitors. Okay? That's treachery. Listen, I do far deeper political commentary than in full, okay? They might be super philosophy nerds, but when it comes to the political commentary, and where's in the fold? Painful.
Stupid, reactionary,
Look,
resentment-filled people.
if junks were good enough,
Resentment, see?
it's good enough.
That's nerdy philosophy stuff, okay?
We
Resentment.
have the prototypes, and we do it a million times. We have
Boeing
big
is
thing
years
that floats
late.
on water.
Boeing is years late in delivering tankers to U.S. and Allied air forces. The Israelis.
Also, hang on, slow down. Does this fucker know the size of a warship? Do you realize, like, what a prototype of that thing involves? Like, you're talking about... Let's say you're talking about an aircraft carrier. They've been trying to upgrade aircraft carriers for a few decades. That's a ship the size of a small city. Like...
This is why... Here's the...
How many prototypes of the fucking Death Star?
Here's why you don't have to care about Giannis or be nice to him. This is literally, like, the thing. This is in the article next to his. By the way, if you are ever writing and you find this in an article next to yours,
Or is it?
quit.
Someone said Bataille time in chat. This is not what Bataille's talking about, by the way, just to be clear. Bataille's
Different
talking
thing.
about
This is what Klosowski's talking about in Living Currency.
something else. Yes.
As for the labor supply, cutting gigantic
See?
federal gifts to rich universities, which turn out unlimited numbers of sociologists and sexologists, and who often end up working for the government in some capacity, will give us more workers and perhaps more plumbers, too.
Yeah, fuck those plumbers. Oh my god.
How is that a deep dive into the tariffs? I'm so disappointed.
Oh, I hate these people. I hate these people so much.
So
This
this,
is like
is...
the-
Traitors.
this
At
is
least,
who Giannis has decided to throw his hat
listen,
in
at least Dr. Jones is not a traitor. Hello, Jagdan, do it. I'm watching, yeah. The screen is not black anymore. Hello. Are also in the shower? Does everybody watch me from the shower? Are the only people that watch me people that are in the shower? Is that a thing? Why is the global elite making Trump back off on the tariffs? Kind of sus, true. It is sus. The tariffs are good, don't you know?
and he deserves every...
Any move. Yeah.
that when he said the opposite, that actually we're going to impose additional tariffs on China on April 9th.
Which reminder is tariffs on literally everybody.
Literally everyone and everything.
Not China, not just China.
Oh, Jesus. I'll drop grapes. It's fine, I'll pick them up later.
There's a reason why everything's made in China. And everything being made in China means that a tariff on China affects literally everyone. It's
Except for
at
me.
this point, I have to assume that Trump actually has no advisors, and he's just doing shit that he thinks will appease a mythical base.
That's all I can
Plugging his-
assume.
and he's plugging his ears when people, and if anyone's even able to get near to his ears, tells him something like this is going back to the
Basically-
signal thing. Like it's crazy that he didn't even know. The president didn't even know that there was this leak before newspapers did. That's crazy.
Well, again, it has to do with his remedial understanding of everything. I don't think there's another way to
Your
talk.
fans take more showers on average than any other streamer fans. True.
Talk about it. His remedial understanding of tariffs. We
Yes.
know they're associated directly with trade deficits or surpluses. And he sees deficit as negative because he's got a baby brain. He doesn't understand that actually a trade deficit can be a good thing. And
That's
actually-
true. That is true. He just sees that the US is buying more than the other country and he automatically sees it as a bad thing. Which I don't know, maybe the US simply needs more stuff from the other country than the other country needs from the US. It can be that simple.
generally is. For example, Madagascar, we have no need to do much with them. They're not buying a lot of our stuff because, $400, $500 per person GDP is not going to be a lot of buying power.
Right.
But because of that, vanilla, which is incredibly difficult to grow, super manually labor intensive. You have to hand pollinate every single flower, and then you have to hand harvest. There's no automation for any of that. You need basically the only way you're going to get it is people. So that's why we have cheap vanilla, because of our trades with them. But adding this weird sort of layer on top of it and eliminating the ability for us to have cheap vanilla is
Very
because of a
weird,
trade
yeah.
deficit is again
It's
crazy.
weird.
And it just
Stupid.
shows
It's,
how-
it's
how
literally
stupid
it's
he
literally
is.
just based off the word deficit being there.
Yeah.
That's literally it. It's like
I really do think so.
if we buy
It's what I said. I did this analysis before, okay? I did this analysis first. I said, and I quote, my VOD is out, okay? I eat real vanilla. Like, I said this when I covered this. Trump just looks at trade, sees that the US is buying more than the other country, and says, "Oh my God, that's bad. We're gonna tariff that country. We're gonna tariff it to the Stone Age, to hell." Okay, yeah, that's just silly. It's so ridiculous. You know? All right.
a different amount from them than they buy from us, that means we're at a disadvantage. No, we know you're at a disadvantage because you were buying it in the first place, because you were selling in the first place.
No, there
That's the
are
advantage.
there are and this is, I think, at some point I actually want to get into and talk through. There are, it's the most
got the
frustrating part
hiccups.
of all of this is
Yes.
there's like, and you'll see like Giannis, who's like a famous semi-lefty SocDem type economist who plays in a very different space in Greece, talk positively about a lot of these tariffs.
Yeah.
And it's confusing people because it's like, what the fuck, Giannis? And it's because there are some things there. And again, when you talk about the entirety of it, it is altogether stupid because it is a fundamental misunderstanding of how international trade works. However, to just say that there's nothing there or no point, it also ignores how international trade works. These things kind of go together. So the first thing, though, I want to talk about, aside from the massive, hilarious losses that we've seen across the board,
I mean, it's good for certain countries, apparently. Apparently, certain countries just earn from the tariffs and the US loses more. But, well, you know, whatever.
there was a weird thing that happened today. And there was a point where we saw $2 trillion in the S&P invested and then lost within, I want to say, a half hour. Which is unusual. So there was a rumor. Again, investors were dying for Trump to like slow roll this in any capacity. And there were rumors that spread like wildfire thanks to X and thanks to really terrible news media.
Yeah, apparently that's a lie. There was a lie, and it caused an uptick in the momentary uptick in the on the market.
CNBC and a bunch of people reported on it from a rumor mill on X. But this morning, the White House economic advisor, Hassett, joined Fox News. He was asked, would you do a 90-day pause? Because everyone's hoping. Please do a 90-day pause. They start tonight. Like the 7th and 8th is like the dates.
Yeah, they said that Trump considered it.
You know, I think the president's going to decide what he's going to decide. That sounded like a hint. That sounded like a hint to people who
Yeah,
are,
like he's considering. Yeah, the media said that he was considering a 90-day pause. Yeah,
dying for
I read
because
about it.
It's not an unequivocal, no, he won't pause. It was doing what they have to do because, again, the infrastructure of the communication of the Trump administration is fundamentally broken. He does not have the ability to say yes or no because Trump may change his mind. Like, as far as he knew, there was a no, but he couldn't say that because he'd be fired. Because if Trump literally did it, like, again, it's a broken nightmare. So he does this, and he says this. This was this morning. This is like the fucked up timeline of what happened in the S&P.
Please subscribe to President Sunday Prime.
Please subscribe to President Sunday Prime. That's
Well,
probably
thank you.
fair. I'll support that.
Yeah.
I am subscribed to President Sunday Prime.
You better be.
So at 10:10, rumors emerged
I'm
that
not.
the White House was considering
Am
a
I?
90-day tariff pause. This we saw.
I was taking a hot shower to supplement the warmth I lack in social interactions. You don't lack warmth in social interactions, okay?
The article, the interview. CNBC reported this as a 90-day pause on all tariffs except for China. At 10:18, the S&P added over $3 trillion in market cap from its low. $3 trillion. This happened. This is how fast things move and how wild. And then suddenly, 7 minutes later, The White House was unaware of this 90-day pause. A minute later, CNBC reports that it was not true. 6-8 minutes later, the White House called off the tariff pause as fake.
And then, pew! The stock market just went, pew! Again. Free fall.
News, and then it erased the 2.5 trillion from the market cap on its high from 22 minutes prior.
Quickly see by the S&P and start another rumor.
So, 22 minutes, we saw $2.5 trillion disappear.
True.
And this happened today. And it's one of the reasons that you're going to see like end of day reports for the S&P is going to end up becoming balanced. Because the thing to remember is that all of these buys that caused this massive increase were actually actively also being offset by a whole lot of people selling, a huge number. And as this went up, you also saw an incredible decrease in the number of puts as people sold off their as people pulled back their bets that the market would continue to die. You saw a huge amount of money being sold off and lost there. Like, this is all very fucked up. And it was like basically almost a huge pump and dump. And
Is
I
it
don't know how else
worth?
to describe
Is it worth? Do you think? I'm actually kind of curious about this. Is it worth actually watching Yanis's interview on Channel 4?
I would like to do that after this because I think it's.
Yeah.
I want to do some background on tariffs and sort of manufacturing because it helps with his views, so you can kind of see all of this stuff. Because this is not easy.
Yeah.
Like again, we're shitting on Trump. If you're president, you should know these things.
Well, it's
Period.
It's doubly complicated by the fact that like there are economists who can perceive a strategic value or strategic aim in what's happening. Whether or not it's a good plan by itself is a separate issue, and then there's the additional factor where it's like, okay,
I mean, also there's the question, good for whom? Because it's supposed to be good for the US, and apparently in a lot of ways it's not.
but is Trump aware of any of that, anyways?
No, he's very stupid.
I do not know anything about stonks. It's bad when the line goes down, right? /J.
It's thank you for the donation. And yes, it is generally bad when the line goes down, unless you've put in puts or shorts in the right way. Like there are mechanisms to make money on everything in the stock market. Think of it like the horse races. That you can make money off of a lot of different stuff there. But I mean, how dysfunctional? I want to just because we're on it.
Yes.
So Peter Navarro, who is the
Oh my
Harvard
God.
economist,
I just
they're getting this is an article that literally basically makes that same argument and goes through very nicely to show that it is the latter, that you are spot on, that it is the latter thing. His central pitch to voters centered on the idea the U.S. having been taken advantage of by trading partners and deindustrialized
Which, by the way, has been his pitch since the 80s.
by low cost.
Just saying, we've watched some of his old interviews from the 80s. That has been his pitch since forever.
Imports. The large U.S. trade deficit is a particular subject of Trump's ire, both problems he sees as being caused by a set of trade agreements that worked against U.S. interests, coupled with cheating by trade partners. Is Trump right? The size of the U.S. trade deficit is often seen as a cause for concern, albeit not universally. Critics argue that countries with large-scale surpluses, primarily China and Germany,
Or
cause
Vietnam.
unemployment within deficit countries, since they are employing people to produce excess goods beyond those they are willing or able to consume themselves. Conversely, deficit countries are importing things that could have been produced domestically, creating domestic jobs. Whether or not this is a genuine economic problem, it certainly has become a political issue. Trump's tariffs
True.
are supposedly aimed at addressing this concern with a view to balancing trade. However, it is pretty much universally agreed they will not work. Macroeconomics tells us that a trade deficit is caused by an imbalance in savings and investment, plus the difference in government spending and tax revenue, i.e. the fiscal balance. The U.S. has a trade deficit because it runs an enormous fiscal deficit, currently around 5.5% of GDP, far higher than other rich countries. If Trump truly wanted to move the U.S. towards a trade balance, he would need to tackle this issue. While Elon Musk and Doge are supposed to be reducing government spending, they are unlikely to make significant headway since achieving significant spending reductions will necessitate cuts to politically sensitive areas like Medicare and Medicaid. Further, Trump appears to be committed to tax cuts that exacerbate the fiscal imbalance. As such, tariffs targeted at specific countries, notably China, may affect the bilateral...
Pause for a second?
Yes.
Pause for a second. I do like how this article goes. Well, Elon Musk and Doge are supposed to be reducing government spending. They're unlikely to make significant headway since achieving significant spending reductions will necessitate cuts to politically sensitive areas like Medicare and Medicaid. No mention whatsoever about the vast expenditures in military aid we're giving currently to a country that is decimating us.
Oh no, this is King's College London. Know the source. Like this.
Oh, I know. I'm just pointing it out.
But here's the big deal, though, because again, what he's talking about, he's actually laying out the things that we more understand are actually the causes of these things. When you start talking about the way that fiscal deficits actually operate and how this comes into trade deficits, how we're exporting more cash than we're selling externally, these things aren't necessarily just, oh, we buy more from a country than they sell to us.
No, yeah.
There's more that's happening there, which is kind of the idea. And so he says, as the trade gets displaced elsewhere, this is the deal. Tariffs targeted at specific countries, notably China, may affect the bilateral trade balance, but as happened in Trump's first administration, that trade just gets displaced elsewhere, leaving the overall trade balance unaffected because the fundamental cause, fiscal deficit, has not changed. On manufacturing jobs, the verdict is, I would argue, more complex. This is, by the way, the brunt of the article. I find this is what we're going to start seeing with Giannis and others. This is this is manufacturing.
By the way, there's a thing where when Trump was asked whether or not manufacturing will be brought back to the U.S. and which manufacturing will be brought back to the U.S., the representative of the Trump administration said, well, yeah, we're gonna, we're just gonna have to automate. We're gonna automate, you see. Automation will take care of it. And I'm like, well, then at that point, you're not really bringing anything to the U.S., are you?
Yeah.
It is undeniable the era of globalization from around 1980 onwards has had a detrimental impact on low-skilled workers. Among those who did not attend university, wages fell around 20% between 1980 and 2016 in real-world terms. The golden age of capitalism from the end of World War II to around 1973, in which everyone got richer across the income distribution, has given way to a world of rising inequality, wage contraction among the low-skilled, and increased wage growth at the top end, and an ever greater precarity of employment. Some of this has to do with technological changes, but it is also a result of deliberate policy interventions that prioritize the interests of capital over labor. Outsourcing manufacturing jobs, privileging consumer prices over jobs, and subjecting low-income workers to ever greater competition with workers elsewhere. These are all policy choices, not inevitabilities. Trump's political genius was to trap...
That's true, but the Trump administration is talking about bringing it back to automate it and then just deporting all cheap labor and hiring kids.
Tap into the resentment and anger that these economic and policy changes have propelled. Manufacturing has changed. This is a real economic problem. Will Trump's policies reverse it? His response is centered on returning manufacturing jobs to the U.S. through the imposition of tariffs. But this is very unlikely to work. Manufacturing has changed, with production now spread across multiple countries in so-called global value chains. Moving whole supply chains back to the U.S. is prohibitively expensive, resulting in rising consumer prices and making U.S.-produced goods internationally uncompetitive. The model of manufacturing that underpins Trump's approach simply hasn't existed for the best part of 40 years and is not coming back.
Yep.
I think that's one of my favorite statements because it's again...
It's true.
All of this is stupid. The tariff shit's stupid.
Like... Things are manufactured through moving parts, moving production through many different countries that pass the border a few times at least. And they all get sort of, through the tariff thing, they all would be tariffed a few times over.
But at its baseline, the idea that we have the idea of a factory that makes a thing doesn't
Yes.
exist anymore.
Well, I love it because it really attacks the fake nostalgia that is.
I mean, the idea of a factory that makes a thing exists, but the idea of a factory that makes something from the beginning to end doesn't exist.
One of the major mobilizing forces in support for Trump, where it's this idea of like, no, look, that old black and white Ayn Rand, the Fountainhead movie, yeah, we can make that. That can come back. Like, no, that's not happening. Like your expectations of like what things cost, how much you need to work in a day in order to be able to afford basic things that you need, things that you can expect to be available, and so on and so forth. That is conditioned by all of these complex networks that you're unaware of that pass through all these different countries. You can't just make that internal anymore.
True. Unfortunately, I'm on the lower end of this food chain. I'm I don't know, the unappreciated Polish streamer that is like, you know. You know what I mean? You catch my drift? You get my feelings? My feelings? Understand my feelings on the matter? True, I should.
That's not on the table. That's literally impossible.
They actually think that it's the image, and I think, honest to God, I think a lot of people have an understanding of manufacturing that is, there's a factory that makes toys, there's a
Yes.
factory that makes a car, but anyone who's
There's
in
a guy with rolled up sleeves and a cigarette, just like putting the things together. Just
he
screwing
pulls
on
the lever and it, poof, there's a car.
I mean, there is a factory that makes a car. There is a factory that makes toys. It's just that those factories don't make them from scratch. Like one part is manufactured in this country, then it's moved there, then it's moved there, and finally it's assembled in the final place, you know? Have you thought about starting drama with another unappreciated streamer? Like who? What would be an unappreciated streamer who I should start a drama with? John the Brazen. Give me your proposals. Name me an unappreciated streamer that I should start a drama with. Is it food shops? Is that what you're proposing? Should I start drama with food shops?
Car. Poof, there's a car. Poof. And instead, what it is we have these very complicated supply chains. And again, as the article just laid out, and again, to be fair, for a guy from King's College, it's a very progressive, sort of labor-friendly comment. All of these things are policies, anti-worker, pro-capital policies that were intently put in for that reason. And that anger that has been caused by those policies that workers are feeling, Trump has turned into this. The problem is manufacturing, as existed prior to those policies,
Does not exist
simply
anymore.
doesn't exist. The loss of manufacturing jobs is much more a result of increased productivity than foreign competition. The Center for Economic Policy and Research has done a rough calculation that is a useful yardstick. If Trump were to succeed in balancing U.S. trade exclusively through expanding manufacturing, they would need to increase production by around $906 billion.
Wow.
This equates to an increase of 12.6% of the current manufacturing production. Since roughly 12.8 million workers are currently employed within manufacturing, a 12.6 increase would lead to about 1.6 million new jobs. Well, this may sound significant. It's only around 1% of the total U.S. non-farm employment. In short, manufacturing jobs are not coming back. Once upon a time, the majority of people were employed in agriculture, but increased farm productivity put an end to that. The same is now happening in manufacturing. Reversing this trend is no more likely than this great swaths of workers returning to farming.
True.
By the way,
I love that
all
line.
all these billionaires that Trump is
How would I stage the drama?
fund
Hello,
major
Incub.
tax cuts for the rich through tariffs? They're trying to replace you all with AI anyways. They're trying when it talks about like increased productivity, that's what it's referring to, not AI, but it's referring to specifically inventions that eliminate the need for manual labor, i.e., to pay a person to sit there and pull a switch or to screw a thing or whatever. Like every single time that
mean-
happens, some up and comer invents a thing that forecloses the need for a person to do a thing. That's one less person they need to do a thing.
I mean, true. And that also, like the more will happen to AI, the more that will be the case even for intellectual jobs. You know?
You would literally have to go back in time to bring back that style of manufacture. It doesn't work. Like it's just not. It's not.
You could like set up an army of AI streamers and collect the revenue from all of them.
It's like.
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
We want.
Wow, okay. Thanks for thinking that an AI streamer will have much more success than me. Jesus. I feel so depressed by this comment in the chat that an army of AI streamers will just do a better job than me.
Imagine putting up tariffs to bring back.
Can it be? Can it be
workhouses
true?
Full of women who are.
I'm worth less than an AI.
weaving-
There are already AI streamers that are doing better than me. Like there's this AI streaming with this guy whose whole streaming is just interacting with the AI, and hijinks ensue.
napkins.
It is that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It really is. And it's as we start understanding how manufacturing again has changed, and again built out of policy.
Start understanding? I thought that was a pretty well understood thing, but then again, I'd hate to be this snarky person, but their audience is probably primarily a North American audience, so that's because there is no moral issue of dehumanizing an AI. I see.
Drafted by corporations and the wealthy, effectively. The reason people have been fucked, and it hasn't been my entire life. This really started just prior to Reagan, and has been a thing my entire life that I've seen over and over and over. But the mental space there is simply, this is the result. And
People tend to dehumanize streamers and treat them like monkeys dancing in a cage for entertainment. True. But, okay, for people to dehumanize me and treat me like a monkey for entertainment, they'd have to pass the threshold of first watching me, okay?
And lo and behold, all of those policies and the way that the world has structured
I have such deep hatred for AI anything. Ah, true.
itself, on top of all of the shifts in productivity and how that works, you're just simply not going to get back to it. And as someone in chat is mentioning, the reality is 100%, we have a fuck ton of manufacturing actually in America. Like there is a weird mental space that people have that we don't have manufacturing anymore, but we do. California, by the way.
And it's miserable, by the way.
Well, I mean, it's not. Well, I mean, I've sat in
You ever done it?
cubicles,
It's
so-
fucking miserable.
It is. Well, but again, it's a question
Maryland is not miserable, okay? Maryland is a nice place.
of, like, how are we regarding it, or what are we thinking? The Rust
Like even
Belt, which
with
is
like
called that-
scientific things, right? I'm pretty sure we could figure that out without the AI stuff, and it would be more satisfying and meaningful. I guess at some point you just have to ask yourself if AI if AI replaces everything, from intellectual to anything else, then what will humans do to give their life meaning? Will humans just lock themselves in perpetual entertainment at that point? I discovered Maryland. Don't sell Maryland cookies like we have in the UK. This is shocking. Wait, the UK has Maryland cookies? I think there's a limit to what AI can do. Well, we have not reached it yet. All of the most popular streamers have a big over-the-top reactions to the most basic things. It feels so strange. Wait, do I have over-the-top reactions to the most basic things, or no? I guess. Maryland cookies are like a brand of cookies. And they're not sold in Maryland? Maryland cookies are not sold in Maryland? Exploration would be pointless. Science would be pointless. Art would be pointless. You could ask a machine and it would know everything better. That sounds really infuriating, I'm sorry. Yeah, are we going to have Lucy has an AI in the future that's going to replace original Lucy? Seems more like possible. Wow, thank you. Thank you, Vladimir, that you want to see me replaced. Maybe more people would view the AI Lucy, okay? Maybe people would actually appreciate that Lucy. You're to come to appeal to a bunch of people who only wish to turn their brains off and consume. To come? Oh. Should I be more angry? Well, look at these people. Okay, look at the stream. Are these people angry? They have 192 people watching now, okay? Look, 192 people watching live. Look at them. Are they not calm?
Because it's the X, place where
They're
all the
super
manufacturing
calm.
occurred. The ruins of Detroit, where auto manufacturing used to be booming beyond words. California is actually the center of our manufacturing.
They're calm.
I think
They get more viewers.
Texas a close second.
What's up with
It's
that?
moved to
Well,
places.
they don't have an accent. Okay, they don't have a Polish accent.
Is shockingly, again,
Shocking.
on the coast.
Shockingly.
Because again, it's about global supply chains. It's not about everything being made soup to nuts as a thing. It's supply chains. I think Ohio's next on the list. There's a
President is fairly quiet, but you've seen his reactions to people. You see the rude things he says to people who obviously deserve it. Yeah, but Brooks is quiet and calm.
But these things are being built. Factories are built to bring stuff in, and all of the parts that are now.
And they already have an audience. They can afford to be calm now. President Sunday didn't get his fire by being calm and nice. I mean, true. Are you saying that I should be loud and rude? Is that what you're saying? Didn't you say once that you'd donate and stuff for me not to change my personality, and now you're telling me that I should change my personality?
Are part of
To
this
be rude and mean and loud?
breakdown in tariffs that we're seeing, where things are manufactured here. We have a huge amount of manufacturing, but it's not what people think, because everyone has this idea that our jobs have gone overseas. No, capital is doing what it's doing. We're still here. There's still work that could be done. Laborers, people who do hard labor, people who do good work, the industrial, roughneck types. There's there's just not work for him because everything else is so productive, because it's moved, because it's shifted. It's just such a completely different way to consider any of it. It's wild when you start going through it.
Thank you for the $15. Don't change who we are for views. True. I shouldn't. Thank you. That is true. I should just, I don't know, increase the quality of what I do while being calm. I should just increase my skills and knowledge and delivery, calm delivery. It's not possible for Lucy to change her personality. It's something that develops after puberty. First of all, I'm going through my second puberty because I'm trans on HRT. Second of all, when Red Ruse says don't change who you are for views, Red Ruse means don't pretend to be someone else for views. By change personality, it means don't create a fake persona for views. Not literally changing my whole personality. Or so I assume. Okay? I've made an assumption. Like, when people change their personalities on stream for views, they don't actually change their personalities. They create a fake persona. That's more appealing, popular, what have you. They say what people want to hear. Etc. You know? Personally, to me, it looks like HRT doesn't work. Wait, hold on. What are you trying to... Okay, now I have to... Oh, wow. Transphobia has entered the chat. What do you mean, personally, to me, it looks like HRT doesn't work? What do you mean? Oh, wow. Okay. I have to... What do you mean? Oh, wow. Okay. Have to tell me what you mean. Yeah, that is mean. Also, definitely does work. If you've seen my hair at the beginning of HRT and now, it's like night and day. So trust me when I say it definitely does work. But I still want to know what you mean.
Look at the thing I posted in submissions.
Oh no. Oh
Just
no.
pop it on.
Oh God.
WW.
It's so stupid.
I like stupid protests. That's like
do
my
too.
favorite thing. It's just...
You got talk?
You gonna talk?
This is what's wrong with America here. www.defendpeter.com. Defend.
How'd you like the laughter in the background? He's just fucking... What a
Oh, he's
piece of
picking his
garbage.
nose. There we go.
Wow. I mean, it does take time, a lot of time, but I still want to know what Vladimir means, okay? I can't believe that transphobia has entered my beautiful trans stream. Wait, Ruse, are you both on the page in YouTube?
Come on, my man. Cut that out, man. Let the man talk, man. Let the man talk. Let him talk, man.
It's great.
He has every right to talk. Come on, don't do that, man. Let the man talk, man. Let the man talk. He reached
Oh my
Yes.
god.
And marketing wise, people are doing the Sherlock Holmes things where it's like, well, actually, eating lots of butter is good for you. Well, actually,
Oh, there was this famous Polish actor for commercials, right? And his main shtick was that he would advertise butter, okay? And he would punch his chest and say, "This butter will make your heart strong as a bell. This butter will make your heart strong as a bell, strong as a bell, strong as a bell." And he died of a heart attack. The guy who advertised your heart getting as strong as a bell died of a heart failure. So, yeah, that was a thing. And I found it very bizarrely, morbidly funny when it happened. I mean, like for the past all time that I watched it seems like HRT has severe side effects like dizziness and illness. Wait, are you saying I've always been ill and dizzy since you've started watching me? I can't believe it. Nut butter. That's not true. I've not always been ill and dizzy ever since you started watching. That's impossible, okay? I refuse to believe that that's the case, okay? I simply refuse that accusation. That I've always been just ill, whatever happened ever since, from the very beginning. You've started watching me forever. That's not a thing. Okay. Let's go to the next thing. Like, let's forget about President Sunday for now and let's go to the main news of today, okay? Here's a Game of Thrones news. Who here likes Game of Thrones? Or the Song of Ice and Fire, maybe. The books. Who here likes that franchise? Because I've got amazing Game of Thrones related news. Okay? You ready? I'm not gonna spoil it for you, okay? It's so cool. It is such cool Game of Thrones related news that you'll be so happy that I'm gonna talk about it now, okay? You know what it is? You know what it is? Well, sometimes I watch other streamers, so... Oh, who do you watch? Oh man, I wanted to talk about such great news, but it's been debunked already. Aww, whatever. Oh, was it a Fool's? April Fool's? Okay, we're still gonna talk about it, okay? Even if reality is far more disappointing than what I've been led to believe, it's still Game of Thrones news, okay? I like Song of Ice and Fire, and I know now that the Mad King has entered the building. Okay, so you know how the Stark family had those wolves? The dire wolves had those cool, nice puppies they found, and then they grew up. Some of them grew up. Some of them were killed very quickly. And you know how each Stark child received a little bit of a puppy? So recently a laboratory, Biolab, has announced that it has revived dire wolves, a type of wolf that has been extinct for 12,000 years or something. A big claim, free puppies of the dire wolf have been born, but apparently no, the dire wolf has not been brought back from extinction, which disappointing, but you know what, we're gonna talk about it anyway, even if it turns out not to be true at all. I think it's still worth discussing, because apparently it's just modified gray wolves, but I'm getting ahead of myself in my excitement about the Song of Ice and Fire and Game of Thrones. I guess we're not gonna have a remake of Game of Thrones with real life dire wolves raised to play in the series. Colossal Biosciences claims 3 pups born recently are dire wolves, but they're actually grey wolves with genetic edits intended to make them resemble the lost species. Ooh, look at them! Look at those grey wolves. They look, by the way, that's a false advertisement, okay? I hate it when people say wrong colors, okay? These don't look like grey wolves. Those look like, I don't know, white wolves or something, if anything. Those don't look grey at all, okay? I don't know. It's like I had a grey cat, and for some reason grey cats are called, in Polish at least, blue cats. Like grey-haired cats are called blue cats. I have no clue why. Like they look more grey than anything, and they're called blue. A company called Colossi Biosciences says it has revived an extinct species, the dire wolf, on October 1st, 2024. It makes me feel like, it almost makes me feel like it was like, I don't know. For the first time in human history, Colossal successfully restored a once eradicated species through the science of de-extinction after a 10,000 years plus year absence. Apparently it's approximately 12,000. Our team is proud to return the dire wolf to its rightful place in the ecosystem. The ecosystem that is ravaged and pillaged by humans. Like, what ecosystem would they even return to at this point, I ask? Like, the best thing that could happen to them, at best they would be locked in some safari, where, like, a least good scenario would be that they would be in some zoo. Worst case scenario, I don't know, they would be... I don't even know what ecosystem. The ecosystem has been ruined by humanity as we speak. That's the claim made on the website of the US-based company. Here's what we know. What happened? Colossal is claiming that 3 genetically modified grey wolf pups, 2 males called Remus and Romulus, how cute, born in October, and a female called Khaleesi. Oh my god, they went into the whole Game of Thrones thing themselves. Khaleesi, really? Oh my god. They've leaned into it. They've leaned into the Song of Ice and Fire. The best place to live for those wolves would be Canada. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, you're right, Canada. Worst case, some Resident Evil shit happens. I mean, there's no bioweapon virus involved in here. Khaleesi are in fact dire wolves. The same company also recently announced the creation of woolly mice, a nearly complete thylacine or Tasmanian tiger genome. What is a dire wolf? Oh, I can answer that. A dire wolf is a wolf that lives near the wall, I guess up north where the Stark's domain is, and they're really big and they were adopted by the Starks. That's what a dire wolf is. But the real boring answer is that the dire wolves are large extinct canines and Aenocyon dirus that lived in the Americas until 10,000 years ago. The animals look like large wolves with white coats. They were made famous by the Game of Thrones TV series, hence the name Khaleesi after the main character in the show. I knew it! Oh my god. Khaleesi. Jesus Christ. They don't even acknowledge the books in this article, which is hilarious. So a dire wolf is an extinct species of wolf? No. Dire wolves are large extinct canines. So dire wolf is an extinct species of a wolf? No. Grey wolves and dire wolves were thought to be very closely related based on their physical similarities, but a 2021 study of ancient DNA revealed that they last shared a common ancestor around 6 million years ago. Jackals, African wild dogs, and dolls are all more closely related to grey wolves, Canis lupus, than dire wolves are, despite their similar appearances. Does that mean there are a lot of genetic differences between grey wolves and dire wolves? Beth Shapiro of Colossal says her team has sequenced the complete genome of the dire wolf and will soon release it to the public. Shapiro could not tell New Scientist how many differences there are, but said the two species share 99.5% of their DNA, since the grey wolf genome is around 2.4 billion base pairs long. That still leaves room for millions of base pair of differences. And Colossal claimed it has turned grey wolves into dire wolves by making just 20 genes edits. That is the claim. In fact, 5 of those 20 changes are based on mutations known to produce light coats in grey wolves. Shapiro told the New Scientist only 15 are based on the dire wolf genome directly and are intended to alter the animal's size, musculature, and ear shape. It will be a year or so before it's clear if those changes have had the intended effects on the genetically modified animals, says Shapiro. So they don't even know if they've succeeded. Oh, how disappointing. Reality, as always, is far more disappointing than hype. Okay? Like, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. What is happening? I was so sure. I was so sure that would be a success. But no. The lying bastard said whatever colossal whatever thing light was. They lied to me. I was so excited to tell you about the revived dire wolves, and they lied to all of us, okay? We were deceived by those hacks. So these pups aren't really dire wolves at all then. It all comes down to how you define species, says Shapiro. Species contempt. I'm illiterate. I apologize. But that's why you like me. You like me because I'm one of those illiterate streamers. It all comes down to how you define species, says Shapiro. Species concepts are human classification systems, and everybody can disagree and everyone can be right, she says. You can use the phylogenetic evolutionary relationships, species concepts to determine what you're going to call a species, which is what you are implying. We are using the morphological species concept and saying if they look like this animal, then they are the animal. So they're not that animal, okay? I thought that we're going to draw a comparison between Trump's tariffs usage and the Mad King's dragons that he used to terrorize the kingdoms, but I wasn't expecting something wolves. I told you it's gonna be a Game of Thrones related thing. This is my second favorite illiterate streamer right after Asmongold. After Asmongold? Really? I'm your second favorite illiterate streamer after Asmongold. Oh wow, okay, thank you. Thank you so much for that, Incub. What will happen to the gene-edited grey wolves that look a bit like dire wolves? A bit like dire wolves? So it went from they look like dire wolves to a bit? Sorry, didn't mean to be taken that way. LMAO. Shapiro says they're being raised on 800-hectare reserve where they are being observed and cared for. They can't get a splinter without us knowing, she says. There are no plans to allow them to breed. Jesus. So it was all a lie. It was all fiction. It was all fiction to make me believe that one day I'll be able to reenact Game of Thrones in real life. We've all been robbed. I don't know. I feel cheated. How do you feel? Write in the chat. Write in the chat how you feel about all this. Okay, write in the chat. Aww. You feel dizzy, like very not good. Wait, are you on HRT now as well? Tricked. I think my HRT is contagious and Vladimir has caught it, okay? I think that's the way it happened. Also, join the page and consider donating. Help me become the best version of myself that can exist in this world, in this painful world of tariffs and stuff. John the Brazen, consider subscribing. I think they're hiding the truth from us. They don't want us to have dire wolves. True. I think dire wolves are back. Okay? I think they're back. Okay. Now we have choices. Let's go to my favorite page called www.tvn World. .com. Ooh, Belgorod. Okay, let's look at the news. Alright? Alright, let's go. History time. It's history time. It's Polish history time. I'm a Polish history streamer. So if you appreciate some history time with me, if you like Eastern Europe, if you like Eastern European history, then you'll definitely enjoy this little piece about the history of the Polish subway, which I remember when I was a wee kid, when I skipped school, the subway was still being built in Warsaw. I think it was near the official opening when I was one day skipping school to roam the city. I used to love ditching school to roam the city on foot or in trams, of course, without buying a ticket. I was a wild kid. Warsaw subway or metro, if you will, celebrates 30 years in operation, but its history stretches way back. By the way, Warsaw has given a lot of its subway wagons or whatever you call it to Kyiv. I bet you did not know that. Lucy was a delinquent. True. I was a true delinquent. It's okay to be a delinquent. Delinquents are interesting. Yeah, like right after knowing about the walls, I think the last thing that we should care about while the world being run by stupid people. Huh. "30 years ago, on April 7th, 1995, Poland's capital opened the first section of its underground rapid transit system, which has been continuously expanded since then." I remember taking my first ride in the subway. Okay? I remember going to the last station, which was then the last station, and there was nothing there. There was just an open field there at that time. There were no buildings, no nothing. And then buildings were built and stuff. But basically, the subway, when it was first opened in 1995, ended in the middle of nowhere. Alright? To mark the anniversary, travelers passing through Świętokrzyska station, where passengers can transfer between the system's two exiting lines, were treated to sweets bearing the logo of the Warsaw Metro. Oh my god, I saw people walking around with baskets with those sweets, but they did not offer me any. Oh wow, that's so... Now I'm bitter. I should have taken some sweets, but I'm not a rude person. If they didn't offer me any, then I didn't take any. Oh my god, oh, I'm embittered. I traveled in the subway today. But none of those people, it's because I'm trans. Transphobia in Warsaw. I always suspected. Large multimedia screens installed at the station displayed a timeline of the network's construction, while a mosaic celebrating the anniversary was unveiled at the Wilanowska stop. Wait, I did not see that! I specifically used the Wilanowska stop, and I did not see that at all. Wow. I'm so in my head. I swear to God, 90% of the time I'm so up in my own head that I simply do not even register that what is around me. Anyway, very not good feeling, but I can listen to this stuff about developing public transport infrastructure. It reminds me about good old times when I visited Kraków, or Krakiv, you could say in Ukrainian. But yeah, the Warsaw subway has given Kiev some of its carts, some of its subway carts. Oh, nice. I live in the largest city without a tram system, and we're going to get a tram system apparently. Oh, wait, what's the city? Leeds. Oh. The mayor of Warsaw, Rafał Trzaskowski, who also runs for president this year, by the way, joined the festivities and lauded the metro for its impact on Poland's largest city. Today is not only a moment of celebration, but also a moment of recalling how incredibly ambitious and groundbreaking this project was, which completely changed the face of the city, said Trzaskowski, who is also the candidate of the Civic Coalition Party, which leads the current government in May's presidential elections. Oh, see, the article said it's... The article mentions it as well, that Trzaskowski is running for president. Again, I might add, because he ran for president again in the past against Duda. But that's neither here nor there. There's a reason, actually, the Warsaw subway or metro, if you will, has had a troublesome past of being built because Warsaw is situated on a very specific type of land. There are parts of the ground under the feet of Warsawians that is very brittle sand that is hard to dig into. Maybe they'll write about it here. Calls for a metro system in Warsaw date back as early as 1903, when the city was part of the Russian Empire. Oh my God. It all started in the Russian Empire. It all goes back to Russia, doesn't it? Always, inevitably. All our fates here in Eastern Europe inevitably always lead back to Russia, of course. In some horrible way or the other. But whatever, let's continue. Let's continue reading. Germany took over in 1915 amid World War I, and the occupying government greatly expanded the borders of the city in 1916. Warsaw city officials then began to draw up a plan for a metro system in 1917 to 1918. Which, of course, the metro / subway plans were cancelled because of World War II. Okay? Which I'm pretty sure is going to be mentioned somewhere in this article. A turbulent period after Poland regained independence meant that the project was put on the back burner, with a new plan being drawn up in 1925. But this was again abandoned due to the Great Depression. The idea of a metro resurfaced in the late 1930s, but was hampered by the outbreak of World War II. I mean, yeah, Warsaw was not going to be building a metro system when it was endangered with becoming a lake, which, by the way, that was the Nazis' plan for Warsaw, to just destroy it completely and turn it into an artificial lake. It's true, actually. After the conflict ended, plans were drawn up to revive the project. It was thought that the work of constructing a metro could be facilitated by the city having been completely devastated and turned into a sea of rubble. However, the authorities opted to construct an above-ground rapid rail system for the city instead. And also, apparently, there was something about Poland choosing something Palace of Culture. Eventually, in January 1982, Poland's communist dictator Generał Wojciech Jaruzelski ordered that a metro system for Warsaw should be constructed, with the groundbreaking ceremony held on April 15, 1983. A lack of adequate funding, which was hard to come by because the communist centrally planned economy was collapsing, just like the whole system around it, caused delays in the project. Whoops! Well, the Polish People's Republic was not the richest country in the world. Oh, let me tell you about Oleg the Wise, already became a meme. Finally, on Friday, April 7th, 1995, the first section of the first line was opened. It was 11.5 kilometers long, with 11 stops along the route stretching from the southern part of the city, center almost to the city limits, in the southern district of Ursynów. Ursynów is the place that I told you about earlier, where there was nothing. There was an open field with no buildings or nothing. The line was serviced by just 14 Soviet-manufactured three-car trains. Oh my god. No way. I don't remember that part being the case in 1995 when I first tried the subway. That was a free car train from the Soviet Union. Oh my god. I don't remember that. Oh, now I'd love to like revisit those old carts. Like that would be like a blast to the past. What do you mean, Vesh confused? What happened? What are you talking about, Philip August? Maybe we should turn Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate into an artificial lake. Oh, I should. Wow. I did not know that these were Soviet manufactured tracks. Carts. Oh, I remember the opening. The opening was a grand event. Then Prime Minister Józef Oleksy, former Prime Minister Tadeusz Mazowiecki, members of parliament and Warsaw city councillors from all political clubs, and many other esteemed guests attended. I'm pretty sure my father was in the government at the time. Yeah, he must have been. My father must have been in the government when the subway was opened first. Did Poland have better trains under socialism? I don't think so. Of course, the builders of the metro were present as well, and the late Professor Jan Podolsky, probably the greatest advocate of building an underground railway in Warsaw, who spoke about it even before World War II. Then Mayor of Warsaw, Marcin Święcicki, reminisced in an interview for Polish radio. Let me see. Wait, your father worked for the Polish government? He was an elected politician. He was a member of the parliament. Hello, fake Alec Cole Parker. I don't see him in the crowd here though. The initial central planning moment was when the Soviets started digging canals to the Aral Sea. I mean, you speak of it as if it was a meme, but let me just say that it cost a lot of lives, okay? This initial central planning meme. Are you mad at Nelson Mandela? Wait, why? What are you talking about? Why am I mad at Nelson Mandela? And what does that have to do with the opening of the Polish subway? That's cool. Was this after the wall fell? Oh yeah, of course. It was in the 90s. My father became an elected politician after the... he would not be able to become an elected politician before the 90s. Because he was in the opposition against the government in the 80s. Oh, Mandela was famously anti-Warsaw subway. Well, you know. I'm not mad at anybody, okay? I'm not mad at anybody. For the first 3 days of its operation, over the weekend, passengers could ride the metro free of charge. In the following months, to promote the use of the new mode of transport, a single fare ticket valid on Warsaw's buses and trams could be used twice on the same day for a ride on the metro. I don't know, he could have had connections to the one-party state. Oh, no. My father was in the opposition. He printed illegal books and newspapers in our apartment. And when there was martial law in Poland, he got arrested. And he spent a year in jail. So no, he did not have connections to the one-party state. It's the opposite. He was in the underground opposition to it. Damn, so your father was also a delinquent. Yes, it's true. He was a delinquent indeed. Printing those illegal books and magazines, etc. The metro quickly became popular with Warsawians, even though the first line was not even half the length it was intended to be. Passengers who boarded in the city center and got off at the last stop were greeted with a bizarre sight. Upon surfacing from the station, they emerged in the middle of an empty field. I told you that was the case. See? I told you this long, like a lot earlier in the article. I told you that The last station was just an empty field. For a second there, I was thinking to myself, wait, do I even remember that correctly? Was that even really the case? But now I've been validated, okay? I remember that. So let's read that again. It's my childhood memories. Passengers who boarded in the city center and got off the last stop were greeted by a bizarre sight. Upon surfacing from the station, they emerged in the middle of an empty field with a forest that marks the sovereign city limit of Warsaw on the horizon, and the Rusinów district with its high-rise residential blocks way behind them. It all changed a lot since then, by the way. Oh my god, it all changed so much. You would not even believe. Upon its opening, the Warsaw Metro used Soviet and then Russian manufactured trains. The last ones were retired only in 2023. Oh my god. Soviet manufactured stuff. Jesus. We're having a blast into the past. At least I am. I'm having like so many memories. So many wonderful memories of... I actually used the subway a lot. At one point when I had to... I think I rode at least 5 subway stations to school. I had to ride the subway to school. The first M1 line, the first line M1 was completed in 2008, extending to the northern city limits. The construction of the M2 line began in 2010 in the district of Wola, immediately west of the city center. The first section of the second line was opened in 2015, with subsequent sections extending it west and east and then northeast under the Vistula River. The building under the Vistula River was actually really complicated as well. Lucy, I had a dream about you. Tell me about the dream. And join the page. Tell me about the dream. We're really talking about cool stuff tonight. Wow. I can interject my personal memories and stuff. That's really cool. That's pretty cool. That's what streaming is all about. Knowing your streamer is a person, not just like a, robot that recites stuff and talks about serious things. We're on vacation together and then you got captured by the Russians and refused to compromise on the war. True. I refused to compromise on the war. Did they torture me? AI could never recreate those stories. True. Which is why I am the biggest Polish trans political streamer who's also Jewish and stuff like that. Warsaw Metro today and to come. Warsaw Metro to open a sleek underground library. Oh my god, that is so cool. This is the most omega lol stuff about how Soviet Union brought civilization to Poland and how it was revolutionary and very super industrial because it seems like Poland was living in the dark ages. True. True, true, true. We tried to find a way to rescue you and then I woke up. Thank you for trying to rescue me. And a delinquent. I am a delinquent. True. What that is, it's in my blood. Okay? It runs in the family, being a delinquent. The algorithm could be learning how to create a Polish trans streamer every second you stream. Nah. I don't think YouTube feels it's profitable to recreate me, considering that I don't have a huge following and a huge viewership. Today, the metro is served by a fleet of 90 modern, sleekly designed trains, while the Soviet-designed cars were finally retired in 2023, although the Warsaw Metro retains them for use in case of emergency. I'm pretty sure that the ones that were shared with Ukraine were not the Soviet ones, because Poland gave, I'm pretty sure Poland gave subway carts in 2024, not 2023, but although the Warsaw Metro retains them for use in case of emergency. In 2024, the average number of daily passengers on the network was 700,000. The Warsaw Metro now has 2 lines, the 23-kilometer long M1 and yet to be completed 19-kilometer long M2. The total number of stations is 38, including 1 2-level transfer station, with 3 more stops still under construction. Their opening plan for 2026 will mark the completion of the metro's 2nd line. I think there's a plan for a 3rd line. The Russian ones are probably in better condition than most UK trains. I mean, to be fair, the British subway is so old that a lot of its parts could be in a museum. There's another funny story that I've got around the British subway. I was in England during the famous blackout that happened, I don't even remember when, but there was great fear that the blackout was caused by terrorists. There was panic. The entirety of the city of London went out of electricity. All the subway just stopped in the middle of running. People were stuck in the middle of tunnels. Everybody panicked. It was just horrible. And as electricity was brought back, they had trouble turning the subway back on because some of the technology used is from the 19th century and they did not know how to operate it anymore. Once it got turned off, they didn't know how to turn it on back again. The 19th century technology. And interestingly enough, wherever I went in the city, the electricity was already brought back. That day I went to a gaming convention. I went to a gaming convention and I looked at all the new incoming games. And I returned home to the place where I was staying when I was in England. And everywhere I went, the electricity was already restored. The subway was working perfectly. So I actually never realized that there was a city-wide blackout. I never realized it. I realized it the next day. I would go to class, learning English, and I learned it from the media and from my peers the next day. Everybody was like, oh my God, how did you deal with the blackout? Were you scared? Did you panic? We panicked a bit when our subway just stopped in the middle of an underground subway. Everybody panicked. Did you panic? Were you nervous? And I was like, wait, panic? Blackout? What? And everybody was shocked that I never realized as it happened that it happened. You know? I was in London during I think the biggest blackout ever in the history of the city, but I never even realized that it happened. As it happened, I learned about it the next day, which is a bit hilarious. That is such a Lucy Haza moment, you know? That there was this big event and it was happening all around me, but it was resolved in the places that I just happened to be in at the moment. Okay? So I never actually felt it. It's very, I find it quite funny. Listen, I've got a twisted sense of humor. So I've given you the England. If you giggle in the pond, then the pond giggles back, true. Warsaw is already gearing up to begin building 2 more lines, with the design phase and the announcement of a construction tender expected in 2027. City authorities have claimed that by 2050, the Warsaw Metro will have 5 lines crisscrossing beneath the historic city streets. The metro in Warsaw is currently the only one in Poland, but Kraków, once a seat of kings and now Poland's second city and its cultural capital, has already started designing its own metro system. Thank God, Jesus. Ukraine actually has more subway than Poland, and it's deeper than in Poland. I really like the Kyiv subway, by the way. It's really cool. Especially I like the subway station that is considered one of the, if not the deepest subway stations in the world. That's cool. All right. So what did you think? What did you think of this beautiful subway segment? Did you enjoy? Here's a history channel. I'm a history streamer. That was great. Yeah, you think? I enjoyed it as well. And there's gonna be a library. Damn, you want me to do more Polish related content? I could do more Polish related content. Vote with your wallet. World's first theater in a metro station set to open in Warsaw. Oh my god, really? It's gonna be a cinema? Or a theater? An actual, oh my god. A groundbreaking new theater venue is set to open in Warsaw next month at the final station of the CDM2's metro line. Wow. We were looking for a place where actors we regularly collaborate with, as well as informal theater groups, could rehearse. Kamil Obara, president of the Nieco Kultury Foundation, told local broadcaster TVN Warszawa. Oh God. Wow. Holy crap. So much thing is happening around the Polish subway now. There's gonna be a cool theater. There's gonna be a slick library. Oh my god. What about the library? Look at this. How cool is that? Warsaw is soon to boast a hyper-modern subterranean library for metro passengers, complete with an electronic self-service borrowing system. Oh my god! No way! Scheduled to open this fall at the Kondradowica metro station and the capital's Eastern Targówek district, architects' visualizations of the space-age Metroreka show a sleek interior reminiscent of a spaceship with undulating shelves from floor to ceiling. Oh my goodness. Its designers highlight its innovative parametric inner space, intended to be flexible to different needs. It will also feature a gallery and space for meetings with authors, and the Super Express Daily reported. The library's planning has been inclusive, with ease of access for mobility impaired visitors taken into account. So it's going to be inclusive. That's very cool. Damn. Wow. Holy moly. Walk Polish Subway Library. I know, right? Look at these photos. Wow. So many cool news about Poland today. Also catered for our children, with Kids Zone housing books for younger readers, as well as host of multimedia attractions. Lending will be self-service using special chips for borrowers to take and return books, and its multimedia facilities will also provide interactive cultural and educational services. City Hall's Culture Office has promised. Wow. So it's a place where people will just able to gather to do stuff. The local library service told the report Warszawski website that the space will also feature special hydroponic plants, not only to make it more inviting, but also to fulfill an educational function, teaching about modern plant cultivation methods. You kick law and justice out of power for a couple of months and you get stuff like this. True. Although the facility is still waiting to be stocked with books, it has been hosting special events since last year. Oh, it already exists? Do you want me to go there and film it? You want me to go here and film this place? Oh my god, really? That already exists. Should I go there and check it out and show my results, the results of my investigation on stream? Modernization is based and should be done if possible. By the way, what do you think about American right-wingers' cope about that public transportation is woke and gay, but also communist so they can have it? Wait, what? Can you elaborate? I'm gonna go to the toilet real quick and you can elaborate, okay? And on what do you mean public transportation is woke and gay, but also communist? What? Okay, elaborate, please. And I'm gonna go to the toilet. I'll be right back. Oh, my puppers. Wait, okay, come on, don't tell me Twitch died, please. Don't tell me. No, it didn't. Oh my god, Twitch didn't die. Even though it disconnected for a bit. I mean, America has very car-based infrastructure, like autobahns and highways, right? So why American right-wingers hope that cars are good, actually, and we should also buy those cars. I love how in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, you know, the famous movie that combined live action and cartoon, you know, animation. You all know Who Framed Roger Rabbit, right? You know that movie, right? But also public transportation is gay and woke, but also China's high-speed rail are super cool. So like, basically, I don't know if you remember that about the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but a big plot point was the fact that the main antagonist wanted to level the cartoon city and build a highway, okay? And the main protagonist, who's a detective, is like, we don't need highways, we don't need crap like that. We have a wonderful tram system here. We have public transportation. We don't need, oh my god, there has to be an article talking about this, okay? Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Praise of public transport. Okay? Like, my goodness. Roger Rabbit and the Red Cars. Philip Stedman, let's go here. Okay? The villain executes cartoon, it's supposed to be funny. Like, okay, let's see here. The movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit is set in Los Angeles. I actually did not find it funny at all when I was a kid. I found it terrifying. When I watched the movie as a kid, I found the cartoon execution part just horrifying. Full disclosure. The movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit is set in Los Angeles in 1947. The wicked Judge Doom has bought Toontown, which is of course Hollywood, and is planning to demolish it. In a key sequence, Doom confronts Roger and shows him a terrifying vehicle whose tanks are filled with a liquid that the characters refer to in horror as dip. This is acetone which dissolves celluloid and is therefore fatal to tunes. Doom's plan is to build a monstrous 8-lane superhighway through Toontown and develop the land alongside. But the Toons, with the help of Eddie Valiant, the detective played by Bob Hoskins, who also played Mario in the infamous Super Mario movie, and are resisting. As Eddie says, who would want to drive the freeway when they could take the red car for a nickel? See? The praise of the public transport in that movie was incredible and highly ironic considering how things developed in the US, okay? Who would want to drive the freeway when they could take the red car for a nickel? The film builds on a widely circulated story about the history of LA. From the 1890s, property developers began constructing interurban railways to connect the scattered small townships that were spread across what is now Greater Los Angeles. In the first decade of the 20th century, Henry Huntington bought out more than 70 of these companies and consolidated them into a single network, the Pacific Electric Railroad. The trains were known affectionately as the Big Red Cars. They connected Santa Monica, Glendale, Long Beach, and Pasadena to downtown Los Angeles and gave access for tourists to see and the mountains. The standard fare was 5 cents. At the peak, it was the biggest electric railway system in the world. Take that! At its peak, Los Angeles had the biggest public transport network in the world, extending over some 1,100 miles. Several scenes. I mean, was it public? I mean, I think it was a private company, but basically just the point stands. It was cheap and it was for public use. So I think the name public transport still stands. It was just not nationalized, I guess. But it was still public transport. Several scenes in Roger Rabbit are set in a bar with a large map of the network on the wall. The Pacific Electric went into decline in the 1930s. It revived a little after World War II, but ceased operation in the 1950s, and today almost all trace and all the track has disappeared. One of the big red cars of the Pacific Electric Railroad. My God, such a waste. The story goes that this early and highly successful public transport service was sabotaged by financial interests connected to the automobile industry. Josh Doom is their representative in Roger Rabbit. See? The bad guy is the guy that wanted to promote cars over public transport. And in real life, Judge Dooms won. That is so crazy to think about, isn't it? That in real life, Judge Dooms of the world have won and sabotaged the public transport, which in Los Angeles was at its peak the biggest in the world. Some short sections of motorway were constructed in the 1940s, but the first route to be built after the war was indeed the Hollywood Freeway. In many places, the freeways were laid over the old railway lines, which literally paved the way for the car. Damn. That is such a shame, isn't it? That is sad. It's an attractive story for conspiracy theorists, but it's largely a myth. The Pacific Electric system was a spider web of routes with large areas of empty land in the interstates. No, wait. How do you read this? With large areas of empty land in the interstices. Its customers were concentrated in the towns at the nodes. California was the place where, from the 1910s, car ownership grew first and fastest in the United States. Once sufficient numbers of people had cars, developers could build houses for them and low densities in these suburban neighborhoods, which were not accessible using the red cars. Meanwhile, downtown Los Angeles, not built for automobiles, became choked with traffic. As early as 1920, department stores started to move to the suburbs, and the newly invented supermarkets could only be reached by road. The city of Los Angeles debated keeping the center accessible by rail with elevated lines or tunnels, but these were rejected as too expensive, and only 1 mile long tunnel was built, connecting a line from the north of the city into the terminal below Hill Street. Both tunnel and underground stations still exist, the last vestiges of the Pacific Electric. The station is disused apart from the filming of an occasional episode of The X-Files. I don't know, I think it's sad that the public transport has died like this. But there we go. So, yeah. What do you think? Aren't we diving into some interesting topics tonight? You feel? I don't feel you'll get content quite like this anywhere else in the world tonight. Okay? You will admit that tonight you will not get this sort of thing anywhere else. We had the reverse extreme of communism where everything had to be private and individualistic. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What do you think about Mad Max movies and the future that they portray? Looks like after the US economy collapses, Americans are going to fight for car batteries for their Teslas. Maybe. I actually haven't seen any of these movies fully, but I know what they're about more or less. So that's a thing. I'm not sure where to go from here. Should I talk about the tariffs? Should I talk about international affairs? Should I talk about Israel? Should I talk about Trump's meeting with Netanyahu, which crazy? Or more tariffs? So many things to talk about. So little time. Cybertruck panels are literally glued on and fall off in cold weather. Wow. Built for quality, I suppose. That is the quality that we are to expect from Tesla. No wonder its stock plummeted more than 50%. I mean, it's like your favorite game, Fallout New Vegas, which I have to continue playing at some point. But also with cars. That is cool. I do like New Vegas. Jesus. Best send jets to Florida, urged Trump to change message on tariffs. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Kimball Musk? Elon Musk has a brother? I didn't know Elon Musk had a brother. That's so wild. Elon Musk's brother Kimball blasts Trump's tariffs. This is wild, isn't it? Blah, 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 blah. Here's a sister too. Wait, where's the sound? Oh, thanks for that, okay? Elon Musk has seemingly unfollowed his brother Kimball on Twitter. No way! You've gotta be kidding me. Musk follows 166 people on Twitter and Kimball doesn't make the cut. Uh-oh. It was first noted by automated Twitter account Big Tech Alert. The pair have worked together on a number of Elon's projects. Kimball currently sits on the boards of Tesla, Inc. and SpaceX. Neither brother has publicly acknowledged Elon's apparent decision to unfollow his brother. What is this? Is this news? Oh no. Oh no. Musk unfollowed his brother. Who cares? Jesus Christ, this is considered news. Elon's apparent decision to unfollow his brother. Kimball still recently follows Elon on Twitter. Oh my god. Kimball Musk, the younger brother of Elon Musk, criticized President Donald Trump's tariffs in a post on X, formerly Twitter, Monday, describing them as a structural permanent tax on the American consumer. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He also said that Trump is shaping up to be the most high-tax American president in generations. Kimball Musk posted, even if he is successful in bringing jobs onshore through the tariff tax, prices will remain high and the tax on consumption will remain the form of higher prices because we are simply not as good at making all things. A tax on consumption also means less consumption, which means less jobs, which in turn leads to less consumption and then even less jobs. True, you also should include topic about Musk's dad, admire Putin, and everything that he's doing and elaborating how actually cool everything that Putin. Oh my God, we have to look this up. You reminded me of this. Oh my God, it's all in the family, I guess. Let's go. Let's look into that next. His post continued, America has incredible strengths. We should play to those strengths and not be forced to play to our weaknesses. Same with the rest of the world. Elon Musk posts anti-tariff video. I did not see that coming. I did not think that Elon Musk would share an anti-tariff video. On Monday, Elon Musk shared a video criticizing tariffs as barriers to free trade, in a move that many be interpreted as veiled jab at Trump's Liberation Day tariffs. I mean, Elon Musk said something like, oh, I would like the tariffs between Europe and the US to be zero. But then again, there's been rumors and murmurs that Trump said that Elon is on the way out of the government, you know? So Maybe that's why he's not as cooperative anymore. Maybe Elon Musk really is on the way out if he's actually posting anti-tariff videos now. The Tesla CEO and close Trump advisor, who has lost over $11 billion in net worth since the tariffs were announced, posted the video after criticizing one of Trump's top trade advisors and calling for a tariff-free relationship with other countries. He specifically said that he'd like a tariff-free relationship between Europe and the United States. On Monday morning, Musk posted a clip of economist Milton Friedman to his social media site X, formerly Twitter. In the clip, Friedman explains how international markets and trade without barriers increase quality of life, using the example of graphite pencil as a product that benefits from global supply chains and cooperation. So there we have it. Elon Musk's brother, who apparently was unfollowed by Elon Musk, has criticized tariffs, and apparently Elon Musk has criticized them as well. In fact, I have a clip somewhere around here. Hold on. Let's see. Do I? I don't even know anymore. Let me look it up. Oof. Here's article from Kyiv Independent if you're still interested, but now it's already considered old news. I don't mind, but you have to go to my page. If you linked it on YouTube, then it won't. It will disappear. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Elon Musk, EU, US 0% tariff. Okay. There we go. Elon Musk hopes for zero tariff situation with Europe.
I hope that the United States and Europe can establish a very close partnership. We obviously are, there's an alliance.
I'm sorry, but there's already been a pretty close partnership between the US and Europe. It's just been screwed over by Trump.
Already, but I'm hopeful that there can be a very close relationship with America and Europe.
Yeah, that has been the case until Trump destroyed that.
And I'm hopeful, for example, with the tariffs, that at the end of the day, I hope it is agreed that both Europe and the United States should move, ideally, in my view, to a zero tariff situation, effectively creating a free trade zone between Europe and North America.
So there you go.
And that would be that's what I hope occurs. And also more freedom of people to move between Europe and North America.
Oh my God. Suddenly the anti-immigration line is not...
If they wish to work in Europe or wish to work in America, they should be allowed to do so, in my view.
That destroys the whole anti-immigration narrative, doesn't it? Actually.
So that has certainly been my advice to the president.
Oh wait, it's just the I guess it's just the immigrants that are not white that are bad. My bad. You don't help to cause this chaos. He needs to take ownership. god. Okay, let's go to Kyiv Independent. Elon Musk father. Elon Musk father Errol swoons over Russian's president. Oh boy. Wow. I'm not even all that shocked by this. Okay? I'm not even... April 4th. It's not that old. This news. This is not all that old, okay? This just happened recently. So I guess we're still cool, okay? Talking about these news. Alright? It's still okay. Hello, Simon Pierre Dubé. How are you? How are you doing? How have you been? Have you been watching the treacherous stream of President Sandian Brooks? Who want to one-up me when it comes to political commentary? Huh? I'm good. I finished working and I just ate a huge burrito. And no, I didn't. Ah, okay. Nice. Thank you. How are you? I'm feeling a bit better and my stomach hurts a bit less. I am unblocking my PayPal, so if you want to support your favorite streamer, which hopefully is me, then come to the page and, you know, support. And if you have a Prime on the Twitch thing, then you can gift me your Prime. What's it called? Something Prime. So if you have the Prime, you can gift me your Prime. It would be foolish not to admire Putin. Elon Musk's father Errol swoons over Russian president. Oh my god. What kind of a fascisty type of person must you be to actually admire Putin? I don't use Amazon. Amazon Prime, thank you. That's the thing. That's the name of the thing. Thank you, Simon Pierre Dubé. But you know what you can use? You can use my page, lucyhazard.org/live. Okay? You can use that and consider subscribing. Because White Forest takes the lowest cut possible. It would be foolish not to admire Putin. I'm already there? Oh, nice. Consider subscribing or donating or gifting John the Brazen a subscription. Elon Musk's father, Errol, has expressed his admiration for Russian President Vladimir Putin as a man. Oh my god. What sort of weird masculinity is this? The new face of toxic masculinity that requires you to admire someone like Vladimir Putin. All right, let's go at this again. I'm already subbed and I gave 2 for the past week. Oh, nice, thank you. I am thankful to you. As a man, saying it would be foolish not to admire him in an interview with BBC Russia published on April 3rd. BBC Russia, of course. In the interview, he said only in time will it be possible to understand who really started the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Oh God, come on. I almost swore here. I almost demonetized this entire stream and possibly the segment. Really? Only in time will it be possible to understand who really started the full scale. It was Russia. Russia started it. I'm just gonna. I don't even know what to say. I'm just gonna run ahead of this mystery and solve it for Elon Musk's dad, because this is ridiculous. The full scale interview, only time will tell. It would be foolish not to admire Putin. I listened to his speeches. He says logical things if you view him simply as a man, not in the context of international politics. It's hard not to have respect for Putin. He said, what the hell does that mean? Don't view him as a politician, just view him as a man. And suddenly all of his ramblings make perfect sense. There is logic to what he says. Oh my God. This is incredible. He says logical things. He rambles. He rambles and lies. What do you mean he says logical things? Don't look at him through the context of international politics. Just look at him as a man. Simply as a man. Elon Musk is a South African former businessman and politician known to have had a fractious relationship with his children. Elon's younger brother Kimball has previously said that their father would scream at them for several hours at a time, calling them worthless and pathetic. Jesus Christ. What a psycho. No wonder he admires Putin. When asked in the BBC Russia interview about Musk's attitude toward Putin, Errol said that their views were similar. We all think so. We're all the same, he said in reference to his family. We're the Borg, I guess. We're all assimilated. Jesus. This father actually, this explains so much to me. That's just, wow. Dad of the year. It's just, don't judge Putin's politics. Just view him as a man, and you will see that he says logical things. And at that point, it will be foolish not to admire him. Wow. Errol also said that Musk's decision to provide Ukraine with the Starlink satellite internet network at the beginning of the war in 2022 was right, but now the war has dragged on and goes on and on. Elon Musk rejected the idea that Musk's move into politics was due to business interests, saying their family does not need additional income. Billionaires always need additional income, okay? Or rather, additional profit. Not even just income, profit. Billionaire businessmen, quote unquote, always look for additional profit, for growth. God heavens, we have everything. We don't need money or any more successful businesses, he added. Then why not quit the businesses that you already have? You're already billionaires. You don't need any more. Elon Musk oversees SpaceX, which holds billions of dollars in US government contracts with the Pentagon and NASA, and has a $1.8 billion intelligence community contract to develop a spy satellite network. By the way, Tesla has not been doing all that hot lately. It lost over 50% in stock value, if I remember correctly. So that's the thing. Thanks for bringing this gem to my attention, Vladimir. Thanks. Thank you. It's just, wow. Okay. That is quite shocking, to say the least. Hello, Zoshilix. Thanks again for the audio track. I haven't used it today, but I have not had many opportunities. And you said that it's not finished yet. Musk has claimed he possesses a US security clearance, allowing him to access to classified information. SpaceX's dominance in the US space sector, with its Starlink network of almost 7,000 satellites, plays a critical role in US military communications, including those of Ukraine's armed forces on the battlefield. What a pathetic, sad, pathetic man. But I don't know what to do with this takeaway of if you simply don't look at Putin through his politics and you just judge him as a man, then of course you would admire him. Would Elon move his business to Russia if Putin provides subsidies? At this point, it's more like a rhetorical question, true. I mean, you're still judging Putin through international relations and international politics, okay? If you just look at Putin and saw the man, then maybe you'd start admiring him too. Alright? Don't be so judgmental, okay? Like, can't you look past the politician and see the man? Can you not do that for us? My goodness. Based. Thank you. I do my best. Okay? I do my very best. I am an open-minded thinker. Did you know that do you know who WikTV is? I'm making a big announcement, okay? Do you know who WikTV is? Oh. Mom. Does nobody here know who WikTV is? Really? Really? No way. There's no way you don't know who WikTV is. Yeah, Wik is the middleman who's just trying to be a moderator. I do. Okay, so he's gonna go on Tim Pool's show, and he's gonna be debating Ukraine. I don't know if you know that. He's gonna be going to Tim Pool's show. He's gonna be debating Ukraine live against Lactoid. You know Lactoid? Oh, for sake. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. He'll be going there. Whoa. And I'm like, aren't there any other more qualified streamers in Twitch poll that could be talking about Ukraine and debating Ukraine? Isn't there anybody apart from Wick TV? Do they not exist? I'm just gonna leave the question for you to contemplate. There are not better suited political streamers that could be debating Ukraine on Tim Pool. Oh well. It happens, okay? It happens to the best of us. Cool. Ain't Anna from Ukraine supposed to go on Tim Pool and do that? Wait, really? Wait, is Anastasia going on Tim Pool as well? Is that confirmed, or are you just saying that? I'm not sure if Tim Pool would invite her because she's I'm not entirely sure if Tim Pool would invite her, considering that she actually knows what she's talking about. Damn. Everybody's invited to Tim Pool nowadays, I've noticed. It's like a open buffet. It's really bizarre. It makes me feel like Tim Pool is really, oh, how should I put it? Desperate. That's the term. It makes me feel like Tim Pool is really desperate. Oof. So yes, that was something, wasn't it? The story about Elon Musk's dad. Oof. US did not impose tariffs. Wait, is this from now? This is from just now, basically. US did not impose tariffs on Russia because we're not doing business, Trump says. Bullshit. Bullshit. I'm sorry, bullshit. This is such bullshit. This is such blatant bullshit. I cannot stop myself from swearing when I see an article like this. This is from now. This is from 3:16 a.m. this published article. Really? Come on. Really? We're not doing business? This is such blatant. Oh my god. Oh god. Wow. The US did not impose tariffs on Russia despite imposing tariffs on over 180 different countries and territories because we're not doing business with Russia. US President Donald Trump said on... That is such a lie! That is such a blatant lie. The US does business with Russia. There's a lot of imports from Russia. Come on. What about Belarus? I hope this article actually does correct the record on this, because actually it takes all but 5 seconds to Google trade between US and Russia and to see what the reality of the situation is. All but 5 seconds of Googling, okay? What the hell? The White House imposed reciprocal tariffs on many countries that have a trade surplus with the US, set to take effect in April. Russia is not among the countries and territories subject to the wide-ranging tariffs. Trump told reporters Russia did not have tariffs imposed because we're not doing business essentially with Russia, because they're at war. Okay. Okay. Does US trade with Russia? Let me see. Let me see. Trump's officials' evolving narrative on Russia exclusion. Okay. This is crazy.
Surplus, but we're $2 trillion away from balancing the budget. So, from my standpoint, I'm certainly concerned about what's happening right now in the markets, and I hope the administration is looking at that as well.
Russia's involvement in Ukraine peace talks was the main reason why Moscow has not faced the painful trade tariffs President Donald Trump has imposed on most of the rest of the world. Okay, if Russia's involvement in Ukraine peace talks is the main reason why Moscow has not faced tariffs, then why is Ukraine facing tariffs? It's in the same situation. Ukraine's also involved in peace talks, isn't it? Technically speaking, no? Shouldn't it also be then absolved of all tariffs? That explanation by White House National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett appears to stand in contrast with the Trump administration's previous reason voiced last week, namely that trade between the two countries is too negligible due to sanctions over Vladimir Putin's full-scale invasion. The lack of impact on Moscow has been met with criticism in Ukraine. The Hope for Ukraine charity CEO Yuri Boyechko has noted that the war-torn country, also party to peace negotiations, has been hit with 10% tariffs while Russia was exempt. True, true, true. Trump's phone call with Putin last month was seen as the latest chapter in bringing Russia in from the economic isolation it faced due to the war it started. Moscow's omission from Trump's tariff raised questions over whether it was getting special treatment from the US at the expense of the country it has invaded, especially as countries with even less trade than Russia, such as Mauritius or Brunei, were on the list. The White House's latest explanation that Russia did not face tariffs because Washington did not want to imperil peace negotiations signals another shift in the narrative, as Moscow seeks to increase economic cooperation with the US on rare earths and Arctic resources. So, yes. Trump made this remark alongside the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the White House on April 7th. He said that, "We're not doing business." The US president said he was disappointed in Russia's ongoing strikes on Ukraine, repeating comments he made on April 6th. "I'm not happy about what's going on with the bombing because they're bombing like crazy right now. They're bombing. I don't know what's happening there. That's not a good situation." Wow. Trump is slowly but surely discovering what's been happening in Ukraine for more than 3 years now. That's brilliant. That's amazing. Slow learner, that one. Trump said an agreement between Russia and Ukraine is getting sort of close. Oh my God, what does that mean? Sort of close. So it went from, I will finish this war before taking office. I will finish this war in 24 hours once I take office. I will end it in half a year. I will end it in 100 days. And then it goes to, I will have a ceasefire, and then I will have a partial ceasefire. And now we're getting sort of close to a partial ceasefire. I think sunflower seeds go more to Europe. But yes, sunflower seeds are a pretty big export item. Steel also, by the way. Ukraine's steel industry is its second biggest industry after agriculture. Russia targeted Kryvyi Rih in a deadly attack on April 4th, killing 20 people and injuring 75, and a lot of children died. Moscow has shown signs it is unwilling to move forward on a peace deal with Ukraine. A peace deal? It's not even willing to move forward on a partial ceasefire, let alone a full ceasefire, not to even mention a peace agreement. Russian authorities have listed maximalist demands in ceasefire negotiations, partial ceasefire negotiations with Ukraine and the US. Ukraine has already agreed to a US proposed full 30-day ceasefire, saying on March 11 that Kyiv is ready if Russia also agrees to the terms. So far, Moscow has refused to even agree to a partial ceasefire. So there we go. There we are. Trump tariffs nation seek US trade talks as market panic. Beautiful thing to behold. Russia. On Wednesday, a White House official said the reason for Russia's omission was due to negligible trade with Moscow due to sanctions imposed by Washington in the wake of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. U.S. trade with Russia stood at $3.45 billion, $3.2 billion in 2024, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. U.S. trade with Russia stood at $3.5 billion, $3.2 billion in 2024, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. So $3.5 billion. 3.2 billion euro. Yeah, that's negligible. It's like nothing. It's like whatever. It's not even worth. It's not even worth placing a tariff. At the same time, the Trump administration has imposed a 10% tariff on all goods imported into the U.S. from Ukraine as it continues to deal with Russian attacks. Oh. You remember the segment that I did? At least it was a part of my rant about the tariffs. I spoke about the penguins, how an island inhabited mainly by penguins was tariffed by Trump, 10%. So I guess Trump official explains why penguin inhabited islands also face US tariffs. Sanctioning the penguins has finally been explained. Finally, we will get a full explanation as to why the penguins have been, stricken with tariffs. Finally, we will have our answers. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said that some islands inhabited by penguins were included on President Donald Trump's tariff list so that countries could not use them as a loophole. What happens is if you leave anything off the list, the countries that try to basically arbitrage America go through those countries to us, he told CBS TV's Face the Nation program. Wait, that doesn't make sense. That makes no sense. What happens if you leave anything off the list? Russia and Belarus were left off the list. This explanation is stupid. It makes no sense. Among the countries named for Trump's minimum 10% tariff were the Heard and McDonald Islands, a barren subarctic Australian territory, uninhabited by humans, but home to 4 different species of penguin. So I guess the penguin island could be used as a loophole, but Russia or Belarus absolutely could not. That makes perfect sense to me. I'm pretty sure North Korea is not on the list either, by the way. Just saying. Penguin memes have since gone viral on social media, and US Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer noted how Trump slapped tariffs on penguins and not on Putin, referring to the fact that Russia was not on the US tariff list, and Belarus, and North Korea. Iran, I believe, is also not on the list. Iraq is. Iran is not. What the hell is going on? It does make sense if you look at Donald Trump simply as a man. True. Don't judge him as a politician. Judge him as a man. I have to Google this now. Iran not on Trump's tariff list. Targets of Trump's reciprocal tariffs include tiny islands, but not Russia and Iran. There you go. Solved. I guess Iran could not possibly use as a loophole, okay?
Breaking right now, the world is beginning to feel the effects of the sweeping reciprocal tariffs announced yesterday by President Donald Trump.
Some of America's closest trade partners are preparing to retaliate today as global markets continue to plunge.
Yeah, and it's a rough start to the day. This is
I love it. Israel, though, still got him out 70% rate. I mean, it's not puzzling because it's not based on tariffs. It's based on deficit. What is notably not included on Trump's list? Russia, Belarus, Cuba, and North Korea. Iran. The White House made the same argument as it did for Russia for why they are not on the list. But in these countries' cases, there is much less trade with the US, although it's still on par or surpasses trade with some of the island's territories. No, I don't agree with just getting rid of the sanction on Korea. North Korea. Damn. Oh my goodness. Here we are. Here we are. Iran. God, Iran is absent on the tariffs. It's just, I don't even know. I don't even know what's happening anymore. That's okay. We're gonna watch one more thing before I finish stream, okay?
Why is my job?
Okay, we're gonna watch the ultimate video, okay? Aww.
Welcome back to Anything.
Alright, let's go. I have to do this. Since I am now an owner of a German Shepherd, I will force you to watch these with me, okay? This is the last video of the night. This is the last video of the stream. I'm forcing you to watch.
Anything German Shepherd.
You're gonna be watching. You're gonna be watching these videos with me now, okay? Forever.
Welcome back to Anything German Shepherd. Most of us are familiar with the short-haired German Shepherd, as this is the breed most commonly seen on TV.
I have a long-haired German Shepherd. Spoiler, okay? Full disclosure, my German Shepherd is a long hair.
German Shepherds are rarer, and because their fur is considered a defect by the AKC, they're not recognized as an official breed. The good news is that if you aren't looking for a show dog, a long-haired German Shepherd can make a wonderful pet. Long-haired German Shepherds are the product of
Actually, that's not true. Like, in Poland, long-haired German Shepherds are absolutely allowed to go on shows, okay? And earn medals and trophies, so that's stupid. And this is from 3 years ago. Maybe something changed since 3 years ago.
Autosomal recessive genes, which is considered a fault by the AKC. But many GSD enthusiasts prize the long-haired German Shepherd for their beautiful silky coats. The positive traits people associate with the classic short-haired German Shepherd are just as prevalent in their long-haired counterparts, which includes intelligence and loyalty. On average, you can expect a long-haired or short-haired German Shepherd to live 10 to 13 years.
Aww.
And please remember that a proper diet, frequent exercise, and regular veterinary visits can all help extend your GSD's life. The cost of your GSD will depend on a number of variables, including the reputability of your breeder and whether you choose a short-haired or long-haired German Shepherd. Since the long-haired GSD isn't AKC recognized, they usually cost less than a purebred short-haired GSD. Short-haired German Shepherds will cost more if they're purebreds and come from reputable breeders, generally ranging anywhere from $500 to $1,500 per puppy. The German Shepherd is commonly thought to be among the most intelligent dogs in the world, since, among other things,
my dog is very smart, unless he does stupid things. Then he is a bit less intelligent, but overall, I see him as a very intelligent pupper.
they're incredibly easy to train when done properly. They'll
well, I guess I don't know how to do it properly.
also reciprocate the love and affection shown to them, and both long and short-haired GSDs will be devoted protectors to their owners.
I have to wash my GSD.
Shepherds are sometimes said to have one-track minds, and this helps explain their utility as working dogs. Though strong and hardy animals, German Shepherds do have a predisposition to a few particular ailments that can affect their quality of life. One of the most common is hip dysplasia, a malformation of the hip socket that can lead to arthritis and potential lameness.
I actually have to check for that when my doggo gets older. I'll have to check for I'll have to do a hip inspection at some point. Yeah, that's right. I hope it will be fine. His hips.
When choosing between a long-haired and short-haired German Shepherd, you may wonder if shedding differs at all between the two. Though it may seem logical to assume that long-haired German Shepherds shed more hair, the reality is that both breeds are equally guilty of serious shedding. The main difference between the two breeds is
which includes loyalty, the most useless stat.
that while a short-haired German Shepherd tends to drop loose hair easily, the long-haired breed will carry a lot of shedded hair in its coat. Especially in the spring and winter when animals naturally lose their hair, you can expect your long-haired Shepherd's undercoat to thin out, and the shedded fibers remain trapped in its outer coat. Although you can't completely stop shedding, there are steps you can take to help reduce the mess. Ideally, your GSD should be brushed every day. If you get rid of the loose hair
Every day? No way.
before it drops from the dog's body, you'll be able
No way, Jose.
to lower the impact.
I'm not gonna brush him every single day. Come on, I've got things to do. Okay, no. No. I'm not doing that. Come on, be reasonable for once. Be a reasonable person. Every day. Pfft. No. It's not happening.
And furniture. Regular baths can also help reduce shedding, especially for long-haired breeds. Thorough grooming can help
I
remove
have to wash him.
the stubborn undercoat that doesn't always want to come free with brushing alone, and it'll keep your GSD
I have to bathe him at some point.
smelling fresh. You
better make sure that your dog has a quick learn perk.
should also try to give your short or
Apparently German Shepherds have a quick learn perk.
long-haired German Shepherd something to do to help keep its mind occupied, and to help it burn off energy. Regular exercise should be a consistent part of your dog's daily routine, which can include walking, playing at the dog park, or even agility training. If your German Shepherd is primarily an indoor dog, you can also try puzzle toys to keep their minds active. Thanks for joining us today. Please feel free to subscribe to our channel and newsletter, and don't forget to hit the like button. Until next time.
Look at him. Okay, we're gonna finish stream here. We're gonna raid you into some places, okay? And I'm gonna spend some time with the brainiac that is the German Shepherd. Who should I raid on Twitch? Since Twitch did not die today. How many people are watching? Is it even worth? How many people are watching on Twitch? One person. Okay, never mind. What? Animated Sarah? Okay. Let's raid animated Sarah. Animated Sarah. Okay, we're raiding animated Sarah. Start raid. Raid now. Okay, we've raided on YouTube. Who do we raid on YouTube then? What the hell is this? Can we tariff Transylvania? What? What the hell is this? Edit. Food shops. Vegcom. Okay, let's go with Vegcom, the classic choice. Alright, I'm gonna see you tomorrow. I'm gonna lie down a bit because I'm all pooped out. Okay, I'm all pooped out, and yes, we'll see you.